Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, we're going to be talking about some organizational type things. We're going to talk about ink swatching. So I've done many different things over the years, and you can see here on the right hand side, I have what I've been currently working on. These are all my Catherine Pooler inks, and then I have like MFT inks, and I have Distress and all different brands, right? And they're all hanging in one spot. And yes, I can grab them, but I wanted to try and do something different. So I got a Simple Stories binder. I have tons of them that I haven't used, and they all come with like these different what would you call them? The different inserts, the different sheets, a full 8x6, 4x6, and 4x6, and these extra sheets here. But for the time being, I'm just going to put this back in this little package here to keep it out of my way. I may use these papers. I'm not 100% sure, but what I do know is these tabs I'm going to use. And I got some of the, they're 2x2 openings for a 6x8 binder. I got this from scrapbook.com, and I'm going to start with my Catherine Poolers, and I wanted to do that because I knew I wouldn't have to restamp all these again, and I could just stamp any of the ones that I haven't stamped that are new. But for the most part, we could just like really transfer one to the other. And in doing this, I realized this probably isn't going to be the best way to do it, because sometimes I like to do things in color order. And then I also realized, you know what? I think there's an even easier way. But real quick, you're going to just see me kind of grabbing from the one and putting in the other. And I'm going to show you. So that would be front and back, right? Boom. Those are done. And then the idea would be like I would just keep going. But what I was thinking about later was I would want it to go pink and reds to the yellows, not to the greens behind it. Do you see what I'm saying? So at this point, at one of these points, I think I just, oh yeah, no, I emptied the one full sheet. And then I decided, you know what, let me redo this. we're gonna do it. We're gonna move it, but we're gonna move it differently. So I'm gonna take these out of the binder and put that to the side, and I'm pulling all of these out. And what I decided that I wanted to do was really take the greens out, put light colors together. So you're gonna see here that I'm just basically like trying to take the ones that are in the back, which I know are the greens, like greens and blues. As you get towards the bottom, I'm just gonna put them in a pile. And then I was like, oh, do I want to group more light colors together? You know what I mean? So I feel like this is a green. Should those all greens go together? What's going to be the best way? So I was like, okay, let me put the reddish ones together, the pinks, the pinky ones. Like I literally just start taking everything out and grouping them by colors. Now, the best part about Catherine Pooler and Distress inks is on both of the sites, Ranger and on Catherine Pooler's. They actually have free downloads you can get for your ink swatches, which is like wonderful. So the papers that you're looking at, or the ones that are already done that you're looking at, I did on craft paper cardstock that I have, because I wanted to make sure that I stamped on paper that I use, right? You don't want to use just regular printer paper, because it's not going to show you the true effect of that ink on paper that you use, right? So it's like, it's got to make sense in that sense. So you can see here, I'm still like, okay, so is this green or is this blue? It's not going to matter, because I'm going to wind up putting it back in the order following the Catherine Pooler ink swatch, basically the exact download that they send you, and I group it in the same order. So in doing so, some of the newer inks that have come out that I don't have yet, you'll see as we go through, I'm going to wind up skipping and not putting colors in because I'm going to save those spots for when I get the inks in myself. So we're just pulling out the rest of the colors. Now, if while I'm doing this, you guys hear a fan, I just turned one on because I am hot. So I gotta have a fan on. Sorry about that. Okay. So now what we're doing is we're just still pulling out those ink colors, and I think this is it. Yeah, we're getting close. This is the last page. And then at the very end, we have all of the pigment inks, the metallics that they've come out in the last few years. And we're going to group all those together. I group all of the neutrals together. Yeah. And thank God I could speed it up because let me tell you, it took me, I think originally doing this whole thing, it wound up being an hour and 20 minutes, and I could have kept going, but I was like, y'all don't need, you don't want a video that long. You really don't. I don't want you to have a video that long, but I wanted to show what and how I go about it. So I know for sure these three are ink pads that I haven't swatched yet. So Succulent, Cashmere, Goldenrod, Glacier, and I'm just looking through, oh, that Verdenia. Anything that still had the plastic on, I know I didn't stamp it or test it out. I saw I had Frosted, so I put it to the side. On the Lake, I did have a copy of that one, so I put it to the side. And here is the chart. So on one chart, I just did regular printer paper just so I would have for the order. Okay, and I put that to the side. And now for this one, we're going to look for the inks that we're missing. Now, this was a little bit thicker. I try to use 80-pound paper when I put it through my printer. This one was a little bit thicker, so there were some elements where it didn't print properly, but thankfully I was still able to get to the names of the ones that I was missing, so I could still cut out the ones that we needed, basically. And I'm just going through and finding those. Normally I would pull out my big tape or my paper cutter, but I was like, you know what, forget it. We're just gonna cut the square by hand. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It's just a few of them. I just took my time and trimmed them to keep it simple. And I do figure out that the Cashmere one wind up not printing correctly, so I did have to wind up printing it again. But I'll pause and come back and you'll see that it's already pretty much done. Right now we're going through, I'm trying to find the Verdenia, then I found it. Or for Verbena, I can't see. It's too far away. And then I'm going to go to the very last page, which has the copper, bronze, and I already had one for platinum that I had printed out and had ready, but I hadn't bought platinum yet. So now I get to stamp it. So pretty much for this week's video, I'm not going to have a video for Wednesday because there's no, this is like a work in progress, right? So as we continue to grow the swatch book, I'm going to obviously keep sharing that with you guys because I want to ink up all of my 49 and Market inks, and they're going to have a section. There's going to be a section for all the distress inks, which I think some of the last ones I didn't get. But what I do notice about the distress ink ones, theirs aren't as big as like the Catherine Pooler. They are very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're smaller squares. So they got the entire Distress Ink collection on one paper. Which is like, that's great, but it makes it way smaller. It's almost like a coin, like a small coin square, you know. And I want it to fit the 2x2. So I'll probably wind up having to cut out blank sheets for myself and get them ready for when I do the distress inks that were new at the end, like the Scorched Timber, the Lost Shadow. I don't think I swatched those, so we'll be doing those as well. So we'll have multiple videos. They won't all be on Technique Tuesdays, but I just wanted to share this with you because I had mentioned it, I think, on a live, and it's something that I was really thinking about, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. Most of them are already done. It's just about putting them into one location, and then it's in a book and easier to grab, and in some ways easier to keep closer to me, because I keep finding that if it's too far away, I'm not going to grab it. I'm not going to think about it. And I want to be able to use it. Plus, I think we can also decorate the outside of our cover. And I'm thinking doing like a lot of splatters and then creating like a swatch book, like label to put on the front. And then maybe like something on the side on the binder. So if it's on the shelf, I can see that it's the swatch book without having to like go through all my binders. You know what I mean? All right. So now we're doing Glacier. Glacier is probably one of my favorite blues right now. I've used it a couple of times, and yeah, I really do enjoy that blue. I love a dark blue, like a good navy blue. And here, I'm trying to clean this ink pad because it is, Catherine Pooler inks are juicy, so it's very easy for ink to get everywhere. And I was just trying to clean this one up a little bit. Now, when it comes to swatching the pigment inks, I've already pre-stamped like the gold, silver, I think rose gold. And what I found with those was that it was almost like the stamp wasn't fully touching the paper, so it almost looks like it's got it's a section missing or a piece missing. And in doing this, I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to put it on top of something, you know, like, or maybe try stamping twice. So I'm stamping twice, and it's still, see how it looks like it's kind of like smudged there? And I was like, maybe I need cushion. Sometimes with certain stamps, you need a little bit of foam underneath the paper so that when you stamp down, you get a good impression. But then I came up with an even better idea. And I don't think I do it here. But what I wind up doing is picking up the paper and the stamp and then flipping it over and pressing with my finger. And that was able to give me, see, it's still not, it's driving me nuts. So I think it's here where I flip it upside down. Yep. And I'm pressing with my finger. And by doing that, I was able to get a solid piece. I was like, oh, okay, so I'm going to have to redo all of my pigment inks. Because that was one thing that was driving me nuts with them. Oh, my God. I was like, why can't this look normal, you know? And again, flip it over, press with my fingers, and then pick it up. Perfect. So yeah, so I'm like, yeah, I'm about to redo all these. But first, let's do platinum. We'll get this cleaned up and we'll hit platinum and we'll be good to go. And I love her pigment inks. They do come with refills. You can get refills for them as well. And I want to say, did I move it there? I might have moved it a little bit. It might have been a little bit off when I flipped it, but it's okay because it's still better than the last times I did. So yeah, I'm bringing the other three back. I'm like, no, we're gonna go ahead and redo. And it's just important that you make sure you clear your stamp each time. Now, this one is really discolored because I did use what is that ink called? An archival ink, Catherine Pooler's black ink, and it colored in the entire stamp, so it's basically, it just looks black now. And but it's okay, it's clean and it's still stamping good, so I don't worry about it. And then thankfully with the platinum, I'd still had a platinum that was open, and because on that last one it kind of shifted and it did it again right there. But I'm gonna hope that I pressed down good enough. And it was a little bit off, but I decided that I would cut out the actual octagon and just glue it on top. It just makes it easier, and then that way it still looks better. And then I think the last one is the rose gold, and then we'll get that cleaned up, and then we're ready to get this back in order. Oh no, it's rose gold and gold, regular gold. And actually what I've realized too is that if you press down with it, it sometimes sticks to it and you can just pull it right up. This poor stamp has been through heck and back. I've been doing a lot of swatching with it, but I just think it works out better. So picked it up, flipped it over, press, 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 press. And when we pull it off, gold is so much better. All right. So that's all of the colors that I currently have stamped and ready to go. Now, one way to find out exactly which colors I was missing was doing this as well. Because if you're a person who wants to have, like, you're trying to get the complete collection, swatching it is a good way to figure out which pieces you're missing. So now we're going to start putting this in order. So I'm going to grab those other sheets, the thin ones, and we are going to go in order by how they have you print out the collection. And it's just a matter of grabbing the colors. And on this first one, I think I lay out the entire front row, like the front swatches. And then we start putting them in. And this is fun. I mean, you know, sometimes it's just very relaxing, you know, to just sit down. You can stamp them, clean up your stamps, do all that, and then put it all together. And it does. It looks really good. So now we're just going to put everything in, which was a little bit of a pain because they wanted to kind of like stick on each other. So it made it hard to figure out where to put the ink swatch. But I love how this winds up turning out. And I think doing it this way in the book and then using a divider, because on the divider part, you can write or use your labeler and put, you know, distress or, you know, 49 and mark it. Or I usually put CP inks for Catherine Pooler inks, you know. And then that way you're marking each section and all of your ink pads are in one stop shop. Like they're not some over here, some over there. Over the years, I've tried so many different ways to swatch all these. And it's just, you know, it can get a little nerve-wracking. So what I decided to do, I don't know if I've come up on one yet, but when I find one that I've missed or I can't find, I've circled it. I'm going to circle it on the paper, and then I'll know which ones I need to look for. And I usually get the Catherine Pooler inks from my little scrapbook store, or I go straight to Catherine Pooler ink and get them straight from her site. Because some of them, like some of the older colors, Michelle may not have available. And then one of the colors I thought was old, I think it turned out to be the new color. So I didn't know. But I ordered it. So I got a few from Michelle and a few directly from Catherine Pooler. All right, and so now I'm doing the same thing, finding all the colors, and I'm just going in row of these sheets, and I'm telling you, I think it makes it better because they sort of break it up in color units. So like they call it, hold on. Okay. So theirs is called like, oh my goodness, where did I put it? I had it right here next to me so I could tell you about it, and then everything is gone. Okay. So if I were papers, where would I be? Okay. That's so bizarre. Because I literally I stapled it and put it over here. I forgot because I saved it for when my papers come in. Yes. Okay. I was like, this doesn't make sense. Yeah. I stapled it together or paper clipped it together so I would know where to find it. Okay. So like, for instance, the first couple of colors was Cotton Candy, It's a Girl, Party Dress, and Rockin' Red, right? So they have it listed as red. And then the next line is red to orange. And then the bottom line is orange. So each section, they have telling you where the color combos are. From yellow, orange to yellow, yellow to green, green yellow to green, I should say, and then like a green blue to blue green, blue violet, red violet, and then they do some of the reds, red orange, and some of these the reason why they go back to reds is because they're different types of the collection, right? So they have spa collection, they have party collection, they had all these different groupings. And in those groupings were similar colors. So you may have a party collection red, but in the spa collection, that red might be more muted or a deeper, richer tone. So that's why I was like, you know what? Let me just leave it the way that she had intended the colors, how they had brought them out. And then that way I can see exactly how everything should look, you know? And it makes it easier sometimes. Oh, and I should also mention on the website for Catherine Pooler inks, they do have free color wheels that you can get. The last one I got was in 2023. I should probably look and see what they have now. But they show you how to find your complementary colors, triad. Oh, wait a minute. Is it analogous? I think that's the word. But, you know, colors that work well together, ones that are opposite, ones that, you know, kind of clash with each other. Like, you could see everything. Like a traditional color wheel. But these are like free items that you can get from her website. So, without a purchase being necessary, too. Okay. So, now we're done with the blue greens. And we're getting ready to move on to some of the purples, which are going to be on the back side. And I think, is it after this one? After one of these, I do wind up finishing the rest off camera. Because like I said, I didn't necessarily intend for you guys to sit here with me while I did all this. It was probably around this point I was like, oh, wow. I was like, I'm getting kind of long here. Maybe we don't need to go this far. So do me a favor. I always value your guys' opinions in the comments down below. If you would like to see more on the ink swatching, if you would like to see a video of me ink swatching just the 49 and Market stamps, I think it's 1, 2, 3. I think it's 12 inks for them. It's 15. No, it might be 15. But there's inks, you know, I can show you the where I go to get the ink swatches. I can show you how I'm stamping them. And I think I'm going to just keep using the same image because I like that it's a solid stamp, rather than trying to switch it up and doing a different stamp for each collection. I don't think we have to do that. I really like this one, and I like the way that they look all together. And you can really see the color. You know, sometimes I don't always get it super saturated, but I think you could still get a very good idea about this collection. Okay. I'm just making sure I got glitz, and I forget which one that one was. But yeah. So just putting stuff in wherever, like I said, I'm missing. I just make sure I circle it on the paper, so that way I know which ones I need to look up and, you know, get replaced. And then I circled that one. I think it was honeycomb and amber. I didn't have those, which was weird. And I was trying to make sure. Yeah. Nope. Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. So again, if you could just leave a comment down below that you'd be interested in seeing more videos like this, and I will do my best to get some more out to you guys. Thanks again, and I hope you have a great week.